Hi there. This is a clip taken from a BBC interview I did. It was aired. They called me the day after that Channel 4 documentary was aired, and they called me early in the morning and said, "Do you want to appear on the radio?" And I just woke up and I said, "Yeah, go on then, I will." So I was half asleep, so I didn't have any time to prepare or have a coffee or anything. It was straight on, and they brought Simon Parkes in as well. So I tried to make a few cracks. It was so funny. I tried to keep because it was on BBC Radio. You've got to be respectful, haven't you? But if it'd been today or nowadays, I wouldn't hold back. But then in the early days, didn't want to say too much, but you could tell I didn't believe him. But they talk about his cat lover. It's so funny. But the funny thing was, Simon Parkes, and when he heard my little gaffes, he was afraid to come on the radio. He was terrified because this was after he'd sent me those emails, and I never said anything. And he was probably on the edge of his seat. When is she going to mention this? When is she going to mention this? So for a long time, I didn't say anything for like a few years. It was only 2018, 2 years ago, and this happened in 2013, 2012, yeah. And so I never said anything. But he started dirty on me, digging the knife in, trying to maybe discredit me before I did say anything. If she does say anything now, no one will believe her. So he was trying to do that for a long time. But anyway, on the radio show, he hung up. He didn't come on. He wouldn't come on. But they replaced his airtime, his section or whatever you call it, with a foghorn because it was about June time. I'd say it was about the 16th or 17th of June, something like that, 18th of June, 2013, because it was after the Channel 4 programme the day after, and I'm thinking that was around the 15th or 16th of June. And it was like the last foghorn ever in UK. They were getting rid of it, scrapping it, or something ridiculous like that, getting rid of the last foghorn, and this was a celebration, so they put that on. But it was so funny because Simon Parkes had been advertising, "I'm going to be on the BBC," and telling all his people to tune in, and when they tuned in, they got the foghorn. I tell you, it was like payback for what he'd been in. That was enough for me. It was so funny. I laughed for about a week. It was hilarious. But he didn't come on anyway. He hung up and scurried off like a little weasel that he is. So I just thought I'd put this up. It's quite funny.
I'll tell you what, Marie, why don't you stay in contact with my programme? And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm a believer. I'm very cynical. However,
I can provide evidence, so you have to believe your own eyes. And you have to believe evidence.
I'm more than happy to see evidence, and I tell you something. What you claim is evidence. I am very cynical. I'm a very pragmatic person.
So am I. I'm a very sceptical person, which may sound really strange, but I am a very sceptical person. But I don't believe
I will listen to you without judgment in exactly the same way as I believe that my team have just made contact with Simon Parkes, who's the Whitby Town councillor who we've just referred to, who said he's got an alien mistress that he calls Catwoman, who he visits regularly and has sex with.
Well, that's his story.
Well, that's his story, but his story...
And people have all sorts of weird stories and different things happening to different people.
I don't understand why his story is so unbelievable, yet your story is meant to be believable.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is everybody has different stories, and different things are happening to different people. It doesn't say it's the same agenda. It could be the same race of beings, but they have a different agenda with different people. Okay. So one person does one thing, another person does another thing. It doesn't mean it's not true.
Simon Parkes is going to be on this station in about 5 minutes' time, and the listeners can decide whether he should really represent the Labour Party in Whitby if he believes he's crossing over to the other side to have sexual encounters.
Hi, good afternoon, all you lovely people out there. Hope you're all doing well. Just a quick one, really. I'm thinking of putting together a video with emails I've received from people in the past, and just sort of the kind of things that Simon Parkes really is up to, and especially when you get these soul readings. I've had so many people with complaints about those, and his deprogramming. So I'd like to hear if you've had any experience with Simon Parkes. You've paid a fee for a certain thing, you weren't happy, it was a load of nonsense, let's say. If you weren't happy with complaining to him, weren't happy with the result, if you feel like you were conned in a big way, not just monetary wise, spiritually and all the rest of it, which is the main consideration. You can get over losing a few pounds, can't you? you can think, oh, damn it, and move on. But when it's spiritually and somebody's tying you into something for months and leading you down the garden path and then just dumping you there when you're in the middle of something, just dumping you and ignoring you, and you're left thinking, what the hell, what do I do now? And, you know, there's so many people out there like this that he's led down the garden path and then just dumped when the cash ran dry. I'd like to hear about things like that. If you want to get your story across, your even comment across, not even a story, you know, a brief outline, I can read it out in a video. You can keep yourself anonymous, and you know, I'll keep emails and everything like that strictly private. So if you want to let people know not to go down the same path and to warn other people, you know, not to go down, not to do what you did, and be careful, you know. So we rely on people like this to actually warn others. So it's very useful. And you may think, oh, I'm too embarrassed to let anyone know. Don't be embarrassed. These con artists are professionals. They study the art of manipulation, and they will manipulate anyone with a kind heart. So it's not your fault. You're the kind person. He's the one manipulating you. So never feel guilty or embarrassed or ashamed when you get, you know, ripped off and led down the garden path by somebody who's not honest, and somebody who's experienced in saying the right thing, knows exactly what to say to hit the points. So don't feel it's ever your fault. It's 100% of them. This is what we're trying to avoid and trying to expose. So never feel guilty, never feel ashamed, never feel embarrassed. So my email is there in the description if you want to write to me and let me know, even just for my own benefit, so I can get a handle. I want to see the real damage that's been done here, and it seems to be an awful lot, judging by the comments everywhere around. There's been an awful lot of people conned here in one way or the other, and something should be said, you know, something seriously, and it shouldn't get swept under the carpet. It's quite serious. So let's hear your story. Even if you don't want it published, don't want me to mention it, just let me know, just so I've got it, you know, as I said, so I've got a grip exactly on the big picture. I think it'll be good for everybody, and it'll be a great help. Thanks very much. There's so many spiritually good people out there and attracted to alternative thinking, like Simon Parkes was offering, but when somebody tries to do damage to other people, this is not spiritually good. There's nothing good about that, trying to damage people, manipulating people, taking people's last money. How is that good in any way? How can you even live with yourself? You're doing this for a living. How can you even live with yourself? There's nothing spiritually good about this at all. You know, not to mention the spiritual damage, the lies he's feeding you about your soul. How does he know this? Please, these are questions that have been around for donkey's years, since the beginning of time, that nobody has the answer to. And he claims to have the answers to everything. He's got an insider everywhere, so he's got everything covered, doesn't he? Even space, even the other planets. He's got everything covered. Everything. He has contacts everywhere. It's just so, it's just laughable. I just find it hilarious. And in the past, every time I went to do a video on Simon Parkes, I just ended up cracking up because it was so ridiculously stupid. And I thought, this can't be real. People can't be believing this. So they all turned into a comedy, more or less, because he was so stupid, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest, and what I was hearing. I just couldn't believe it. You know, if one just looks at the type of the tactics used just to shut me up for God knows what, for one lousy interview, as I said, in 2011, and it started since then. How many other people has he done that to? What other evidence are they suppressing? What other people are they stopping from coming forward? Because I know for a fact that a lot of people are witness to things and just think, I cannot be bothered coming forward. This is that kind of hassle you get, and they've seen the hassle I get just trying to come forward with some lousy pictures and, you know, a few experiences, not really that much. Well, it's enough compared to most people, but in terms of answers to the whole universe, no, you don't get that. You know, if you see a sighting, you see a sighting. It doesn't come with loads of encyclopedias and all this kind of stuff. There is some, but not the way Simon Parkes makes out. Oh my God, he just knows everything, doesn't he? And he absolutely knows nothing in the end of the day, because he actually puts his foot in it quite a few times, because he'll say things that have already been exposed and he doesn't even know. So obviously he's not doing the research, he doesn't care, he just does not give a damn, because he knows for every person that has seen the lie exposed, there's another 2 people that haven't seen it, and he relies on those people. He doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care if 10,000 people know he's lying, as long as there are 50,000 people who think he's telling the truth, you know. And this is what he relies on. So he does not give a damn. He doesn't care. When you see the cheek of these scammers and charlatans, the cheek is just enough to make you want to throttle them, you know. The audacity, and not even giving a damn for anyone's feelings. It's weird when you meet people like that, especially when you meet them in person. As I said, I've met Simon Parkes once, and that was enough. I'll go into that because it was a good few hours and I questioned him. I had questions. He was making claims, so I thought, well, I'm meeting him, I'll have a list of questions. You know, I'll have my own questions to ask him. See, what Simon Parkes does, when he does a conference or anything, or goes on a radio show, does phone calls, he already, before the call, before broadcasting, he has supplied a list of things that he will talk about. And if something is not on that list, he will not talk about it. It's all prepared with him. Everything is prepared. So he would send these lists into people beforehand. So all these truthers with their podcasts and radio shows, they knew from day one he was a con artist, but still didn't mind pushing him, did they? No, you've got to look at all these people as well when they push people like Simon Parkes, especially when they know that they're a fake and a con, and they couldn't possibly. How can they sit there with a straight face and listen to some of this stuff and act like serious men in a debate? They're like clowns to me, seriously, and they should be to you too, because that's what they are. But it's dangerous clowns. And these same charlatans will make out the government are after you, your phone is tapped, you're being watched, you're being this, and whistleblowers are always harassed, and this and that and the other. When none of that exists in their world. It does exist in top level, yeah, I imagine, but not on the level these morons talk about. I've been filming UFOs now for a long time, and I've always been open about it. In my family, work, everywhere, I've always been open about it. I've not had any hassle. The only hassle I get is from people like Simon Parkes, the same people that are supposed to be bringing you the truth. It's not the government, unless he's working for the government in this way, and this is what he's paid to do, so shut everybody up. You know, there's been rumours about that as well. And as they call them, gatekeepers or whatever, same as Miles Johnson, that maybe this is what they do. And as I said, I've spoken to so many people who wouldn't even bother coming forward. They wouldn't put up with this hassle. Life's too short. We have enough hassles, haven't we? Dealing with normal things. We don't need this. So all these people with evidence and good evidence are not coming forward. This is the evidence that we need. This is the real evidence that we need to put the pieces together, and, you know, it's been suppressed by those who say they're bringing the truth. It's very twisted, isn't it? You see the fakes being pushed by certain radio shows, radio podcasts. They push the fakes, and you know damn well they're pushing the fakes. And they're all part of it, aren't they? They're all complicit, and they're all playing their part it's like this big web of nonsense that we're all being sucked into continually. But the tables are turning. People are getting more sense and starting to realise that there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more shady dealings and shady goings-ons, and, you know, nothing is as it is really. So I think a lot of people are beginning to realise that, you know, there's a lot more going on here. We need to be wary, and we need to just be vigilant. There's a lot of shenanigans going on by so many different agencies and opportunists, and my God, it really is shark-infested waters, isn't it? You know, people are sending me some copies of comments that they're seeing everywhere. Oh my God, there's a lot of angry people out there, aren't there? There's a lot of angry people out there venting their anger. And who can blame them, eh? And he's scurried off. You know, it suits him down to the ground that he's got a ban on YouTube. That's his excuse now. I couldn't do it, got a ban. I had to leave them all high and dry. But he's on BitChute. He could upload up there, couldn't he? Let's see what he does. Oh yeah, while I think of it, some people are writing some very good comments and actually apologising for the length of the comments, very long. Don't apologise, please, because I found that the comments are a valuable source of information, and you know, a lot of people bring things to other people's attention, so loads use the comments. So don't ever apologise for long. If you think it's long-winded, it's not. They're very valuable, and because there seems to be an awful lot of people that don't know what Simon Parkes is about, just came across him recently, so don't really know any of the backstories and think he's God's gift at the moment, but they need to see this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of experienced people as well leaving comments and, you know, links and different things, because I found out a few things that I wouldn't have seen, you know, but for the comments. So please keep commenting, and any useful information, links to other videos, they're all very useful for other people, even if someone has seen them or I've seen them. It doesn't matter. You know, I'll add it into the playlist and things like that, and other people are watching them as well. And it's gathering momentum, isn't it? This is what it does. So, and then it'll carry on. And so they are very valuable, the comments. So keep them coming. Oh yeah, he's got a ban till the middle of April apparently for his videos on Trump, I guess. He had a lot of complaints, and they've threatened to deplatform him. So he better be on his best behaviour. What? Imagine if they've said, right, Simon Parkes, tell one more lie and you're finished. He couldn't open his mouth ever again. One of the things he said about me once was he put in a strike against me for bullying and harassment. For telling the truth, you know, I was just exposing him. Reading out his emails to me, nothing else. No swearing, no shouting, nothing like that. Just reading out his emails to me, and he put in a strike for bullying and harassment. Then he did a video saying MarieKayali is now a well-known bullier and harasser and has even been recognised by YouTube as such. Oh God, that's just so funny thinking about it. Recognised as YouTube as such because he put the strike in. Oh my God, what an idiot. I mean, he used to do these things to upset me, but they actually just made me laugh. I just found him so ridiculous. And we used to have such a laugh with his little retaliation and his little attempts, because he obviously wasn't watching my videos when I was exposing him with police recordings and things like that, and he would carry it on in his next video like nobody. He didn't know what other people knew, and he was like shooting himself in the foot continually. It was hilarious. It really was. Still is. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you can have a little giggle. If you can't have a laugh, what we're going to do. My email is in the description box. If anyone wants to write to me, I'm here. So let me know, and let's get some of this truth out about him, you know, to the wider audience as well. Let's see what he's really up to with his little cults in the making. Thanks for watching. Just one last thing, actually. I've seen quite a few comments, a few, saying, why should we believe you? Well, you shouldn't really. Nobody should believe. I'm not asking anybody to do anything they don't want to do. You should believe, well, if you look at the evidence and your research, and track record, and judge yourself and your gut instinct about a person, and the evidence, basically. And it's up to you what conclusion you come to at the end of it when you've looked at that. But don't just take my word for it. But if somebody's presenting the evidence, you know. My channel's never been monetized. I've never asked for anything. I've never tried to bully anyone into believing me. That's totally up to the person, what conclusion you come to. All I'm doing is presenting the evidence, presenting what I have, and some of my opinion based on those facts. That's all. Not bullying anyone into believing anything. That's totally up to yourself. I'm not selling anything. I've got no conferences lined up. Got no tickets for anything. Got no books. Nothing. And I don't have Patreon. Don't have my PayPal there. Never have. And I've been around for nearly 10 years now. And it's always been the case since day one. My track records should speak for itself. Whereas on the other hand, look at the trail of destruction that's following. They leave in the path that's following them, and what they leave behind. There's nothing like that about me. I haven't conned anybody, and I've no fear of anybody coming up to grab me in the future and say, hey, this is what you've done to me, and anything coming out into the woodwork, because I haven't done anything. There is nothing that I've done like that. I mean, let's face it, if beings were to come and choose someone on Earth to give them all the answers, would it really be someone like Simon Parkes, with this narcissistic personality, little devious mind, and scamming everyone? Well, he won't even scam those who aren't vulnerable. He's scamming the vulnerable, which makes him a big coward as well, and even lower than low. So no, they would not come to somebody like Simon Parkes. Definitely not. There's no honour there. There's no truth there. There's nothing there of any importance to anybody. Nothing. And if anyone wants to call me a fake or a liar, well, let's put up all the lies I've told about Simon Parkes, make a list, and we'll go through them, and I'll definitely I'll definitely address it online if I have told any untruths. I'm just reading out what he's actually doing and using his own videos and his own words to do it. Nothing made up, nothing fake about it, except coming from him. So if he is being seen in a bad light, it's only based on his own actions, isn't it? And who's to blame for that? Himself. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye for now. More videos to come. Thank you. Bye.